Hey YCC kids, today is an all-together service, which means we are staying all together in this room. We're looking at our heroes of the Bible today. We're going to be looking at Moses. Shall we find out more? Alright, let's go. A boy called Moses lived in a great palace. It was the home of the king of Egypt. The king of Egypt's daughter had looked after Moses since he was a baby. She had found Moses lying in a cradle. It was hidden in the bulrushes near the river. His mother had hidden him there. She was afraid of the cruel king. The king's name was Pharaoh. As she sat by a pool, the princess told Moses about his people.
Many years ago, your people had come here to Egypt to look for food.
The cruel king had made them slaves. He made them work very hard. When Moses became older, he went out to watch the slaves. They dug clay to make bricks. They chopped straw to mix with water. It held the clay together. The wet bricks were put to dry in the hot sun. Pharaoh made the slaves build great cities. If they stopped to rest, his cruel soldiers hit them with their whips. Moses was sad and angry. His people were not free. They were not happy. Moses left the palace. He went across the desert into another land. Many years had passed. Moses became a shepherd. One day, as he was looking after his sheep on the hillside, God sent him a sign. Moses saw a bush in front of him. It burst into flames, but the flames did not burn the bush. A voice called to Moses. It came from the middle of the bush.
Moses, take off your shoes and come near. This is holy ground.
It was the voice of God. Moses knelt before the burning bush. God told him to lead his people out of Egypt to a new land. They would be free. He told Moses to go back to Egypt and ask Pharaoh to let the people go. Moses went back to Egypt. He found his brother Aaron. They called the slaves together to tell them what God had said. The people bowed their heads and gave thanks to God. Moses and Aaron went to the palace. They came before the king to tell him of God's words. Pharaoh became very angry.
Why shall I listen to your God? I need slaves to work for me and I'll never let them go.
Pharaoh told his soldiers to beat the slaves. He knew they would work harder. So God punished Pharaoh in many ways. Then the king's people became afraid. They begged Pharaoh to let the slaves go. Pharaoh called Moses.
Go! Take your children and animals and flee from this land!
Moses helped his people to get ready to leave. They tied things in bundles. Cattle and sheep were herded together. Their cooking pots and water jars were slung across oxen. They then made their way on foot out of the land of Egypt. They had been slaves for more than 400 years. Moses led his people across the desert. There was little water or food. The children cried. They were hot and tired. The people were afraid.
Do not be afraid. God will show us the way.
God did not forget them. By day, he sent a pillar of cloud in front of them. It showed them the way to go. At night, a pillar of fire glowed in the dark so that they could see. In Egypt, people were angry without the slaves. There was no one to do the work. Pharaoh sent 600 soldiers to bring back the slaves. Moses and his people came to the Red Sea. They could not cross the sea. They said to Moses,
Why have you led us here to die?
God will help us.
God put a pillar of cloud between them and the Pharaoh's army. The soldiers could not see them. Then God said to Moses,
Lift your staff over the sea. The sea will part and leave a path in the middle. Your people can cross to the other side.
Moses did as he was told. There came a mighty wind and the sea rolled back. Moses and his people crossed to the other side. They saw Pharaoh's men follow. What could they do? They were lost. God told Moses to stretch his hand over the sea. When he did so, the waves crashed like thunder. The waters of the sea came together. The sea covered the soldiers. Not one was left. Moses and his people fell onto their knees to thank God. God had saved them. They were free. At last, they were going to the land God had given them. Wow, what an amazing story. Moses was an amazing man of God. Well, I guess it's my time to say goodbye. Let's go and learn more about this in the service.